Hi guys, this is Dr. Sadasivam once again with you. And in today's video, we are going to talk about a very important topic for managers and leaders. And the subject is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is absolutely not a new term for us. We know what this word is. We know how much important it is, especially in the role of a leader. But today, we are going to deep dive into it because initially, when I explored this subject, I also had a feeling that I know the subject quite well. But when I deep dived into the subject on the book of Daniel Goleman, who is the authority on the subject, that was when I felt that even though we know a lot of things, the structure in which he had designed that book, and that book is Emotional Intelligence. Millions and millions of copies sold, and guys, millions of copies do not get sold just like that, right? Such an important concept, and let me tell you, approximately it is 415 pages or so, right? I don't know which edition that was. I went through the entire book, and I know that in this hustle bustle of corporate life, most do not have the time to go through a 415 page book. We are trainers, but we do all the time. I have gone through the whole book, and I thought I will come up with a series of video lectures like this in an easy and understandable manner, and I have engaged my graphic designer, content team to create images and footages so that the comprehension of this subject becomes a lot easier, and we will be coming up with lots and lots of videos on this important subject, and planning to put up somewhere around 16 videos what we have planned at this point of time, and let's see how things pan out in the days and months to come, right? So before we explore the subject, we want to start with Aristotle, because that's how Daniel Goleman also starts his book, and he talks about Aristotle's challenge. Typically he talks about anger, right? This is Aristotle. At the core of any emotional intelligence process is how you control your anger. There's no separate lesson, but at the core it boils down to what extent we guys are able to keep ourselves in control, and one of that aspects is anger. Now, getting angry is very easy. Nobody needs to teach you how to get angry or how to get angry, because that's the easiest thing one can do. But what is most difficult? To be angry at the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right manner. Striking this balance is extremely difficult, okay guys? So that's just an introduction, and we will explore this subject in bits and pieces. We'll be peeling off all these concepts like we peel layers in an onion, and video after videos we will be decluttering the whole concept about emotional intelligence, and that's going to be my objective, right? Now I'm going to provide you a scene one. This scene is happening at Madison Avenue in New York, because this is the same example that Daniel Goleman had given. But in the subsequent chapters, I won't be giving the same examples Daniel Goleman had given. We will be creating our own examples, some examples around our country, because that will help clearer understanding. But for the first time, I would like to give this example, the same example that Daniel Goleman had given. He talks about a bus driver in Madison Avenue, which is in New York City, right? He talks about this driver. This driver, whenever he drives the bus, whenever a passenger comes, he makes them feel comfortable. He speaks to them. He talks to them about some of the places. Here is a theater. There is a drama going on. This was the place where, America was bombed in 9/11. And he talks couple of things. This is a new movie released in this theater. This was the place where Nixon can host of other things. He engages the people. When children are there, he makes fun of them. He will provide some chocolates. He will ask them few questions. The guy is cheerful all the time, right? Something very important happens. Because when this guy is cheerful, he radiates warmth and happiness around him. creates those vibrations, guys. He is so smiling that everybody who is within his vicinity, they all become cheerful and happy. And that's the power of being happy, because happiness spreads these vibrations. And over a period of time, when we talk about brain imaging techniques, where there are so many wires connected to your brain, because technology is advanced to such a level that today wires can be connected to your brain here, and little bit of what happens inside your brain, right? What happens in your brain? It's series of neurochemical reactions. These enzymes are released, and these enzymes have a direct effect on your behavior, actions, and it's absolutely scientific. And everything has been dissected to that level, and we will be looking at all those in the ensuing videos. But for now, so many brain imaging techniques have been developed, and people who have a very positive bent of mind, they emit gamma rays, guys. You can see those in those brain imaging techniques. So we will be talking a lot about that, because these are things which have a direct connection, a direct relevance as far as the subject of emotional intelligence is concerned, right? So we're just trying to make some sense of the senselessness that is prevailing in the world around us, right? We're going to talk a lot about that. Now we are going to talk about scene 2, right? I will be narrating 5 or 6 instances in the recent past. We have seen lots and lots of instances where children takes guns to school. There have been instances where students have shot their classmates. We're talking about children, small children, 13, 14-year-old children. That is happening. Second, we are seeing road rages that are happening. Road rage, where a small scratch on the bonnet and the fight ensures, and it goes to the point that somebody's head is broken. That's the level of road rage that is happening, right? Recently, in one of the WhatsApp videos, I witnessed a fight that happened in Egyptian Airlines aircraft. Highly decent families, but somewhere there was some altercations. Look at this video, how much this fight had turned into. Next, we are going to talk about some of the scenes in Parliament. Recently, I came across this video. Pandemonium happens because people don't agree with others' views. There is pandemonium. But here it's fist fight. Not one country, so many countries. It covers countries like Japan, right? Look at these. India, Japan, UK. We are talking about anger. It's not restricted to any specific country. We are all human beings, right? Look at what's happening in some of these scenes, guys. So what is the subject of emotional intelligence? Typically, when we talk about the subject of emotional intelligence, we are trying to make some sense out of this senselessness in this world. We're going to talk about brain imaging techniques, and these techniques didn't exist at one point of time, but now science and technology has made these things a lot easier, where you can go inside the reasons of your brain and understand what is happening, right? And what can be done from outside so that we can have some control on the activities of our brain. Now, typically when we are talking about intelligence, we are going to talk about 2 quotients. One is the IQ, which is the intelligent quotient, and the second is the emotional quotient, which is EQ. These are not new to us. We all understand what is EQ. We all understand what is emotional quotient. As far as IQ is concerned, we know that it is genetic in nature. It is passed on from generation to generation. So probably if your dad is of a high IQ level, and of course the children will also have a high IQ, because all that is passed through the genes. So the amount of IQ a person has is largely decided while at birth, depending on the genetic lottery, because whenever you talk about lottery, it's a question of luck. You don't have any control on that, right? You don't have any control on who your dad is, who your mom is, right? That's what we are talking about. That is why we call it as a lottery. So as far as this IQ is concerned, it's part of the genetic lottery, because people are endowed with that genetic lottery. The second we are going to talk about is emotional intelligence. When you talk about emotional quotient, that is something one can learn over a period of time. One can learn, one can practice, one can implement, and then grow. That's what we are talking about. Emotional quotient, intelligent quotient and emotional quotient.